Cadre fans. Type 2 diabetic rescued by keto fans. Super curve honing fans. It is Bill here. Today is Saturday, December the 3rd, approaching the end of my week of vacation, which I've enjoyed greatly. I'm going to do a shave and use some different stuff. One of the things I'm going to use, my daughter went on a trip. I think she got this in Canada. Shaved ice, they look like a lot of creams and stuff like this. If you look at this, it's, I have no idea what gives it that gray color. I probably should look. I did smear some of this on earlier. I'm guessing that this, I tried to lather it with a brush. It doesn't lather, but they say it's like a gel, and you smear it on and wet it, or smear it on your wet face and then shave. I'm going to try and shave with just this. I do have, as backup, I do have a brush with what I call work-off soap. Work-off is a term that I use for my years in the ink business. Work-off was where you put any returns or mistakes or stuff like that, and a lot of times that wound up in black ink. So that's the term I use. By the way, if you're in the restaurant business, soup can be considered work off. So the razor I'm going to use today is, I've not shaved with this. I saw this piece up used from a fella, Roger Hensley, who is around. You can find him. He's a couple years my senior, and he finds these used razors and he cleans them up and he hones them and he sells them at very, very reasonable prices. A very, very excellent source for a lot of people looking for vintage type pieces, starter pieces, and that sort of thing. This one particularly caught my eye. This was Wald Solingen, number 32. On this side, it says Earn. It has the crown and sword logo. It's one of the logos of Wald razors. There's a whole bunch of, but I like this. It had some sculpting on the spine, and it was in reasonably good shape. I took this, and an interesting bite to me, a 5/8 shoulderless. I don't know when this was made, but I saw this and this looks like this. I'm guessing this is probably a faux tortoise. I doubt that's a real turtle shell in there. It looks, I've never seen a real tortoise shell scale, so I don't know what they would look like. But I like this. It had the 3 pins. It is a little bit loose, and I don't know if I'm going to tighten it up. I didn't see any little washers in there, and I'm not much, I'd rather just deal with it being a little bit loose and being a little bit more careful about how I use it and hone it and that sort of thing. So the week, I'm going to wet this down a little bit, and I'm going to try and shave with it as it is. Well, let's see what happens. For the week, I had doctor's appointments, dentist appointments. My primary care had to cancel out, so that's been postponed. I won't get the numbers on my A1C evaluation for another couple of weeks. But this had jips on the top and the bottom. Just a nice piece. This was, I don't think I honed this with the 3 radius super curve. I know I did do this on 2 radiuses, because by the time I got this, I was doing that. And I know it is in the neighborhood of where most of my stuff wound up at that time. This is that is a little bit, just a little bit tuggy. So I'm gonna see if I can, considering that it may be just the lack of a good soap, I'm gonna use my work off soap. Some people call that clown puke. I don't want to judge the edge I put that on that razor with an unknown soap. And that is a vegan soap, uh, uh, which for vegan soaps, I'm okay with vegan soaps. It's for those of that don't know or haven't studied it as I have had to do with the change in my diet, much of the oils that you would find in the arena of veganism are I like to call them petroleum-based vegetable oils, because they are manufactured with the use of hexane. Hexane is a petroleum distillate. It's a known neurotoxin. It is also a hazardous air pollutant. I've used it industrially, and I really didn't like the idea of hearing that stuff was mixed with food, and then you go through some hydro cleaning process or whatever, and then make an oil and cook my food in it, and then the residuals of that are in my food. And probably anything that, I don't know. I mean, soybean this, soybean that, soybean this. There's, right out back here is a soybean field, and they just harvested not too long ago. And if you ever go out and look at these things, they're dry and crackly. How do they get oil out of that? And then corn, they harvest corn, okay, and it's dry and it's crackly. So how do you get these nice liquid corn sweeteners and corn oil out of it? You figure that one out. And like the non-meat meat alternative hamburger products, you see these in the store, that are they're in the refrigerator section with ground beef right next to there, and plant-based alternative. Plant-based, okay. You're not going to tell me that you ground up celery and carrots and made that thing, and you're trying to make it taste like hamburger? I don't know. Okay, so soap you use makes a huge difference. So that stuff, as far as a singular soap, is not what I want to use. Let's see, what else is happening? Somebody wanted me to shave my beard, but I never shaved my mustache. It's been 35 years maybe since I shaved my chin. I don't know. I probably should do it sometime. Just, a guy with a shaving hobby that doesn't shave. Who used to say some of that was Murray Carter. Skilled bladesmith. Trained as the next generation in a family of Japanese bladesmiths. Lived over many years. And he's done a lot of really, really interesting stunt shaves and stuff like that. And one of the things that he says, because he's been subjected to some of the shave forum beatdowns because some of the stuff he says or does is like a little less than conventional. and one of his responses to their criticism was, you know what I find, was something to the effect of, you know what I find funny? All these people that are criticizing, saying I couldn't get a comfortable shave with this, that, or the other. And, you know, he says they don't shave around here. Which for me, being a lifelong practice of never shaving my mustache, I really wouldn't know. But I would imagine, you know, I do remember the chin, and I do remember that those are probably some of the toughest areas to shave. I'm going to revisit that razor. I don't consider the razor honing bad. I want to revisit that tool with a known soap to evaluate that. It's not quite as, it's smooth, it's just not quite as efficient at cutting as many of the stuff that I've been doing recently. Of course, most of the stuff I've been doing recently is on the Super Curve. Which, speaking of that, I recently saw there's a no-name honer who does this thing, and he's taken his share of abuse and beatdowns from people that don't like what he does. Who has said people have been after him, that people respect his opinion and have sought to have him evaluate convex hones. And in one of the comments, to a recent video of him doing what he does in his style, was somebody had said, you know, I can't wait till you get to convex hones. That way we can hear the truth without all the BS. Okay, and I'm intrigued by this. Okay, so if you're intrigued, but if the statement is without all the BS, there's a handful of guys that have published findings in what they do in what I'm calling super curve honing. Okay, one of them's me. Okay, and so I'm not sure if it's just the particular use of the linguistics in there that caused them to say that, or whether that was some sort of a some sort of a prejudgment, or some sort of a dig at anybody that does what I do. I mean, it's not uncommon for me to get that. But I thought to myself, so at least now we can get an evaluation without all the BS. Okay, so, you know, if the guy thinks that what I'm doing is BS, then that's fine. You're not the first guy, okay, to level that accusation. And nobody should really think that even though the shape of the stone and the grit of the stone that you use imparts specific characteristics to the particular shave piece. I don't know if I'm going to have to necessarily revisit that one with the different soap or not as I go along and begin to wear out that gray stuff. It's getting smoother and better. So if you, and I happen to know that this particular guy does have one of the Jared plates. He does have the method by which he can shape stones. He may even have two of them. One of the ones that was sold on a fire sale with the really, really steep curvature on it, a lot like the one stone that I made manually. He may have one of those, I don't really know. But having been in this from the beginning and an early adopter of it, and one of the earliest receivers of the Jared plate, I know that it does take some time and some understanding, and it's not merely, okay, you shape the stone and you just make the motions of the razor on this stone. You have to do things a little bit differently, so if you take and you know that this is what I do with a razor on a stone, that this is what I do, okay, that's not what you do when you are honing on the super curve. You have to understand where the razor needs to work, and you have to apply the energy to that particular area. It is a selective thing. It is not a rub this back and forth 20 times, like this, and do so many of this and so many of that. It is not that kind of a science. It really does fall into the realm of the artisan or the craftsmanship. And I have no doubt that, because I think it's quite easy to do. I think most people could easily adapt to that style once they understand it. And do that. It's just not that hard. So that'll be an interesting upcoming thing. And I did throw in a message in there that I'd be glad to send my set of stones, my loaner kit, when it becomes available, to this guy if he wants to try it. That way he won't even have to. He'll have the whole thing. And I've honed on those very stones, that very kit. I have honed quite a number of razors that quite a number of people have commented very, very positively on. Then again, anybody that wants to do the shaping of their particular hones, whatever hones they want to do, any way they want to do it, I encourage that, because it's fun. It's part of the challenge and the fun of it. I didn't see a response to that particular comment, and I actually didn't see it post, so I don't know if it was a YouTube thing where it didn't post. I'm not real sure. But if the information gets to the individual and he wants to do that, he can contact me. I'm not that hard to get a hold of. Be glad to do it. if he wants to give an honest evaluation, and that's all I'm looking for. Whenever I offer something to somebody, is a free and open evaluation for their own information, what they want to do with it. I recall early on, after I had shaped a bunch of, got my Jared plate and shaped some arcs, reshaped arcs into the first arc I had, double-sided arc, and a lot of nano stones, and I was getting my earliest very, very good results. One of the guys who was extremely opposed to what I was doing, for the reason that it had never been done this way, and the way he did it was the way it's always been done, which he could not really answer for the Grinder's Handbook from 1840, but that was in his mind. He was right, and that's okay, being in your right, but to oppose me, and then all of a sudden I do something new and I make another step and another improvement, and to publicly come out and say, okay, send me these stones and I'll give you an honest evaluation and tell you if they're any good. That's like the guy that responded to on that one YouTube thing recently. Now we can get evaluation without the BS. So, and speaking of where that guy was, okay, was on a forum I used to belong to, and I got the right foot of fellowship from there. Okay, and they left. They tossed me out, and they left every post that I ever made up there. Okay, and the funny thing was the posts, even the posts that were the supposed cause for me getting ejected, which was under the reasoning that provoking arguments. Okay, so if I say I do this and if somebody else says this is the right way to do it, and then I come along and say this is some stuff that's kind of been dug up and I found this and I'm trying it and I'm having good success with it. Okay. The Weiner babies, like engineer number 56, who does super curve honing you can usually find him where he shows the picture of a hone and a razor hanging off the corner, and he thinks he gets the same thing as a super curve hone. No, he doesn't. But he thinks that. He might have been one of the guys with the O-rings on the shovel, that kind of engineer. But anyhow, the guys, I know the two of them were the biggest Weiner babies at these provoking arguments, along with the one Hone Master Supremo. And that's all well and good. But my stuff was up there. And I just so happened to look, Google convex honing, and a lot of times, my earliest stuff was where Google would zoom you to. And you click on it and it shows up and you can't get in there anymore. It's okay. So here a year and a half later, it's been taken down. Now, what they should do, maybe it's been taken down because I'm on YouTube and I'm talking about it, and I'm saying that commercial for the shaving cadre, the greatest shave form on the face of the earth. Bill M, that's me. Max Headroom, that is my avatar, and it has been that for a long time. So they find me saying stuff like that, and then they could go and they could actually see the work of the. I wanted to get some. Okay. The work of the Weiner babies, and Honemaster Supremos, you know, everything was there, and you could see who they were and what they said and how ridiculous they really were. Okay, so they took that particular thread down. But if they really, really want to purge and hide their silliness and their craziness and their hypocrisy, you know, I'd made numerous different threads and posts talking about this, and they they really should just delete. In addition to giving me the right foot of fellowship, they should have just deleted everything I ever wrote. But they didn't. Not that matters. Not that matters, because you know I'm where I'm at, and I'm progressing along. I'm pretty happy with what I'm getting. If you want to try this stuff, you can be too. Okay. The aftershave was Razor Rock Unlabeled 2. I don't know if they gave a name to this. I do like the smell of this, and I've been every time I use that, I've been saying, you know, I remember the place you get the Razor Rock stuff, that I got it anyhow, Italian Barber, they had an EDT, and I've been saying I'm going to place an order for the EDT. I've never done that yet, but I should do that. So anyhow, do check out theshavingcadre.com. That's where you find me. I think I said that once already. And it's Saturday. This Sunday is the delayed version of the bi-monthly Zoom call that we have. We kind of have a lot of fun. Those that are inclined to have a cigar or a drink, we'll sit around and we'll just like chatting with old friends. And it's a way you get to put names with faces and talk. And sometimes we talk about shaving. Sometimes we almost never. Sometimes we don't talk about shaving. Quite a number of guys have done, including me, have done very enjoyable stunt shaves. You know, every one of them was. I mean, the one that I did was, you know, it was like I felt like, how do I even compete with these guys and the stuff that they do? I mean, you know, some incredible stuff, challenges that they did to amuse themselves and everybody else. And like the last one where Bruce had actually, and Bruce is not an open blade shaver. He shaved with a penknife, and it was like, I missed that one. I had to miss out of that one, but I did go back and watch the video. It was really quite an incredible shave. So I don't think that anybody's on the slate for a stunt shave for this week, but get in and get listed in. You can drop in, drop out, and have fun. So that's Bill for the week. Going back to work next week. Hope everybody has a great week upcoming as we head into winter and towards the Christmas holiday and that sort of stuff. So, Bill, wishing you all well. Take care.